Ready to hit the button right about now. You ready?
Yeah.
And we are live. Wednesday night with those guys, and Wednesday night with those guys is sponsored by those guys.
We got it on time today.
Look at that.
No wonder it's going to snow
Practice makes
tomorrow.
perfect.
Yeah. What's up, Tom? What's up, Herman?
So what's going on, guys?
How are you guys?
It's been a long week, or a long week and a half, or a week,
Now,
or
tomorrow,
half a week, whichever you want to call it.
Tomorrow is actually going to make it a long week. Once this snow comes.
Well, we're supposed to get a little bit, get a little something.
Huh? It's supposed to
get a little
be
something.
El Smeghead Classic, Matt C. And because I can't pronounce your last name, Michael Blades. How are you guys?
Good evening, everyone. Welcome.
Well, yes, welcome to another episode.
You know what?
Number 92. Wow.
Yeah, we getting there. You know what? We got to do something. When we get to 100, we got to do something.
When you get to 100, you got to what?
We got to do something.
Do a shot and a drop?
Well, not only a shot and a drop, we got to do something for the people in the audience.
A giveaway for 100?
Oh, yeah, I thought I'd get my union card by 100 hours. Jeez.
That's in the mail.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, welcome everyone. What's up? Hope everyone's doing well. I'm really liking the NASCAR background there.
Okay.
You know, since you
that's the option.
That, I might as well have to do this then. Okay, for the rest of the stream.
Oh, really?
I'm good. All right, here we go.
You know what?
Well, right now it looks like you're in the witness protection program. You know, maybe just a little bit of light there might help. Okay.
Yeah, I see. If I would have cut this light on here, which I'm not really liking.
In the odds room in Vegas.
And because my head is almost bald, it can't find that fine line. So
we got to lower that light a little then up
top, like I was
you know?
pulled out with forceps.
Okay. Otherwise, I'm going to have to send you that eclipse photo.
How's that? Is that better?
It'll match up.
Well, you're still blending in half of your face into it, but it's all right. It looks better on YouTube than it does on Zoom, actually.
It does actually look better on YouTube. You're right about that.
So what's going on out there, guys? Eddie, what's up, man?
I'm trying to find something here.
Neil.
Nah.
How's Rob?
NASA.
Blind Neil, what's good?
What is the difference?
You know, I was fumbling around, with this computer, and I'm going through some of these, these tech, sites like Engadget and some of these other, The Verge, and then checking out, looking through some of this stuff, man. I was like, wow. Now I'm seeing something here. What Facebook is looking to get into the smartwatch thing now. What the
hell? Look, if it's another way to track your movements, where you're shopping,
they didn't learn from
targeted ads. Of course. Why wouldn't they want to get into it?
They didn't learn from HTC.
Oh, please.
No,
please.
No.
There's an opportunity around every bad idea. Come on.
No, unfortunately, I don't think they learned, because if they did, they would look at prior companies that tried it, social media companies that tried stuff like that.
Hey, Lost Girl, what's up? How you doing? Did you fix that problem?
Okay, here we go.
What problem was he having?
Well, there was that's something that I wanted to mention too. There's a lot of people suffering in some of these states now, like in Texas and them, because of this cold weather and the storm, and people are going without electricity. I feel for some of those people.
Being days and days and days without power, man, it's a game changer, rough, right?
And some people left without water.
Well, think about people who are dependent upon a a respirator.
Yeah, that's the next
CPAP
thing.
CPAP machines, being able to sleep at night.
Hey,
Right.
frat players.
And especially this
nebulizers.
time. Yeah.
Hey, little girl.
You got a problem with the infrastructure down there also. It's like, Texas has this desire to be a sovereign nation.
Hey, Hugh.
Hey, Hugh, what's good, man?
And unfortunately, it doesn't share any power grid with any neighboring states that could help out. Plus, they're solely dependent. I would say probably 68, 70% of their electricity comes from, now is coming from wind and pipeline, right? So, two biggies there. What happens in cold, humid weather? Wind turbines don't spin in that kind of weather.
True.
If they're and then you have those fossil fuel lines that aren't they're not winterized. So your flow is turned down to basically a trickle at this point because it's sludging. And you're right, Rashu, the Texas grid is crap. There's not enough focus on infrastructure in a lot of these places. And
Reynolds,
I don't know, man. And of course the cost for energy keeps going up though. So
unless you converted your house to solar, where they're charging you to pay.
Look, solar's doing you no good right now. You realize an ice storm just came across the country, and welcome, it's on our doorstep.
Right.
Yes.
So when we wake up here in New York City tomorrow morning, we're going to start a long haul. Now they're predicting anywhere from 8 to 12 was the latest NWS briefing I got from the job.
Increased. They went from 4 to 8.
I replaced the shuttle
from 8 to 12. But they say
and the heavy bulk.
They say as it gets later today, they can give a more accurate. And
of course, the front is 11. Moving.
The weatherman on Channel 11, he did say this morning that he will be doing updates, even though he's not on the air. But it looks like if the low pushes up and all that moisture comes up here, we should get at least a foot at a minimum.
Well, the thing that we have to worry about
thank you for
is the
message there.
It's going to change over to a freezing rain. And that means you basically have to be out shoveling in shifts.
Yeah.
Because once that freezing rain comes,
the wet
it's going to it's going to ice everything over. It's going to be difficult to move.
Well, trust me, I know because I live in a basement and I have to keep my stairs clean because what happens, because it's a little well there, it creates a little vortex. So I have to shovel anyway, because if I don't, I can't open the screen door if it gets higher than 2 feet down there, because the wind blows from around. Herman knows where I live. The wind blows off the porch around the side of the house, and then it just all builds up right down at the bottom of the stairs.
Thanks, Brad.
One winter, I opened the door and it was like 3 feet of snow drift, but it had only snowed about 18 inches.
Well, did you get the wind chill?
Lawrence, we could chop that up, put in some, the radiant heat on the floor.
Well, there's
you know what?
There's a
landlord's meter.
We had taken a road trip and we were in the Rockies, and we came through Vail, and gorgeous, right? And we like to drive through,
I'll eat more possum.
Drive through the residential areas in these just to check them out, and they were the snow had just fallen, but the driveways were dry, and my wife was like, "Man, they got some snow cleaning services here." And I go, "No, all these driveways are top end radiant heated driveways."
You know what, Tom?
Okay.
I thought that the people's landscapers were so immaculate.
Actually,
and I didn't know about the heated pathways and stuff like that. And I'm like, the snow is like this high around everything, and it's perfectly carved. And wow! And then a guy says it's all heated.
If you see a real solar house that's built to be run off of solar,
Yeah.
The whole ground, all the grounds around them, the driveway, everything is all radiant. So they take the water that melts off from the snow and they recycle it to use it for steam.
Okay.
And other things. Yeah, I saw a house on a tech program.
Well, technology,
did that. I was like, wow.
technology, remember they were offering all of these satellite services? Well, now, Dish, I can only speak for Dish because that was the last company we had. But I was concerned about snow getting on the Dish because at one time, many people, I lived in Harlem, they had it, and we used to alternate going up to the roof and cleaning the snow off the Dish. Now the dishes have heating elements in them. So the snow builds up for a little bit. It kind of melts it to a shine, and then it just slides right off the freaking dish.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
But if I could afford a heated driveway, that would be nice. Well, that would be nice.
It's just to get the system. If you can get the
what you say, just jack in their power line, their power suck.
It's just
power.
To get the chopping gun
and carpenter.
Run the line into the house. once you get the line, once you get the pipe into the house,
that's all.
It's easy.
It's an easy job, huh?
Yep. Once the pipes into the house, is easy.
Yeah, you got to put a circulator in.
Showing people's houses dripping water from the ceiling. Oh, please.
But yeah. Then there's another thing that I saw here that Toyota now
brought my nephew over. Pratt Players. I saw him. Hold on a sec. Welsh Rob saying, I like you guys so much. I even brought my nephew over. Pratt Plays, Novice Quads. We appreciate it. Anytime someone comes to our live stream that's new, we appreciate it. We love to support. In fact, Pratt Plays. If you go type in the chat, again, I'll actually go to your page and support your page. But there's a catch. You have to support ours.
You did already.
Everyone does that already.
You jumped right in there.
Check this out. They were saying you should start your driveway business.
I see, Lorska. Listen, I would love to do that because think about it. You'd have to install them when it's warm.
Well, first off,
install it when it's warm. And hey, Tim Jackson, FPV Joel.
Really, not necessarily, but the thing about it is that once you crack that sidewalk, that's a lot of money you got to charge for that.
I did it about 5 years ago because my neighbor was doing it, and we share a driveway. So, you know, we have 16 out the street, 30 across, and then the driveway is 76 feet.
Okay.
And then the back parking pad is another 30 feet by 16 feet. So that was quite expensive.
Hey, Marcel.
And yes, if I had it to do over again, I would have put in radiant heating.
Once you have it cracked, it's the best time to do it. But yeah, like I was saying, Toyota,
I'm a supporter.
Looking to get into the robo-taxi business for creating these fully autonomous cars for taxi. And they're working with them. Well, they want to get into it. They did.
Oh, you're talking about Tiger?
No. Because the automotive industry has turned up its nose at alternative transportation and alternative energy. And now that they're seeing there's a market there, there's money to be made. And now my only fear is pushing away the little guy, the innovator.
Right.
You know, I want to see this innovation. I mean, just look at the amount of innovation that's been going on as a result of the diversity on that side of the fence. It scares me when the biggies get in. They swallow things up.
True.
How's it going, Tim?
Well, I mean, they're working with this company, Aurora, to develop it, but you know, they're supposedly the same ones that were working with Uber to create these self-driving vehicles for taxi. So even Uber's looking to eliminate their drivers too.
Well, tell me how many Toyota Tercels are out there driving as Ubers right now, okay? So that makes perfect sense, doesn't it?
Yeah,
with
yeah.
or without the plastic partition to prevent COVID.
Well, you know what? Talk about that. When I
I
went
saw a
to,
driver he capsuled himself in.
yeah,
He
that's
put
what I
the
was saying.
plastic-
Oh
When I
no,
went,
that's how it's done now, man.
You know, a
when I
guy
went
did
to
it
the
in the car.
hospital,
Hey, Michael.
Oh no, they're putting up flexible plastic partitions.
yeah, Lawrence, you know, when I went to the hospital for the surgery, no one is allowed into the hospital with you. So I just took the Uber,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
and
smart move.
the guy, he had all that tablecloth plastic, you know, the
Shower curtain plastic.
yeah.
He had a shower curtain up. Yeah.
Well, that's what this guy did. He had a clear vinyl. It looked like shower curtain.
All the stuff you
Between
cover
the
your tablecloth
seat
with,
where
or
he
grandma
sat,
covered the
going
table.
all the way to the dash, which had little gaps in the front, and then straight across the back. You couldn't tell me it wasn't a shower curtain because it smelled like vinyl. You know when you open that shower curtain fresh out the pack?
Yeah, just be
it had
lucky it smelled like vinyl in there.
that
Okay?
new vinyl smell.
Now, I don't know if anybody has heard of these things called UMVs, Ultimate Mobile Vehicles. Well, Hyundai has this thing called Tiger. And
Yeah, go ahead. I'm going to
brought it to
show.
Lawrence's attention. And the thing that was funny, I saw this in something and I was like, wait a minute, what's going on with this? This thing here can be transported by a UAV to any remote location where this thing can now crawl.
If I paused it to show that it's
Climb.
actually carrying one of the devices, it's actually carrying
Yeah,
this
it's actually carrying Tiger. Tiger's the little guy on the bottom with the wheels.
this little device right here is Tiger,
Yeah. Now,
as you see.
this thing rolls, it can climb, it can walk, and do all sorts of little things, and depending on the terrain that it's in. This is what they're trying to say is the way of the future. So
These are the taxis of the future.
Imagine going camping with the family.
No, these are taxis of the future. And
Well, if you get to the part where I was showing you in the video, you'll see where it actually is in the woods, off-road, going through trees and stuff.
That's not all-wheel drive. That's crawl-wheel drive.
yes.
Well, it does have all-wheel drive. It can roll. It can crawl. It can climb.
Yes. The fact that it can climb, it makes it kind of interesting. Here it is. They're going to show it actually
So yeah,
stepping
I was
up.
completely confused when you sent it to me.
Testing in the lab.
What happened?
And think about it.
I was completely confused when you sent it to me because I thought it was another DJI thing I was going to have to buy. It looked like I thought that was the new DJI FPV
Now, check
drone
this
picking
out.
up the
After it
Robo
carries you to
Master.
where you go.
No,
you
I
can
thought
drop.
Imagine that.
I thought they integrated it with the Robo Master. You know, it could. There you go. Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah.
Climbing
I
stairs.
saw this. I was like, they had unveiled one of these, one of the types over at CES, and then I saw this vehicle here in one of those tech reports, and I was like, wait a minute, let me bring this on. I thought that will be interesting.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Drop me off at the diner. Pull me right up to the front door. And then
If
she
you
pulls
guys
back
wanna
out of the
see-
parking lot, takes off, and hovers over on the
Hey,
side.
Hugh, could you imagine you pull out in your street or you pull into a designated parking lot and this thing comes down and couples you in and,
yeah.
and takes you off the way you want to go, say, the Grand Canyon or
Just to
a park
be
where they're
careful. That's how
allowed.
they're going to take old people off the streets. Okay, don't go
Well,
wandering
if you want to
alone,
see the
okay?
video in detail and listen to a lot of the specifications, this is the link right here for you to check out after the live stream, of course. Put it in a watch later folder.
But only
It does
you're
look
only
nice.
allowed to use the link if you hit the like button. Okay, the thumbs up. So
Oh yeah,
otherwise,
feel
don't
free to
bother.
hit the like
Don't
button.
bother. The links won't work for you otherwise. Okay.
But if you want to see it again, I'll run it one more time while you guys are paying attention. I just have to skip past the guy talking.
So-
but I did put the link.
Is what is this going to be? Not $12.99, right? That's with the Do More combo package. This will probably be
What, this here?
$15.99.
Tiger?
I'll order it now.
Well,
I mean,
Tiger is a prototype, and they're working.
Yes. Actually, the actual working version it looks like one of those giant electric trucks that you buy your kid. You know, that drive
I
down the
was
street.
just amazed by it
Actual working version is about that size.
because
So
look at all of the moving joints on this thing.
it's
Ultra,
to see this thing.
That's where the term ultra mobility comes from, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Now
Yes.
the
Here's
military,
the actual size of it.
you talk about SpaceX and
Here
stuff
it
like
is.
that. Yeah, these are the prototypes.
Yes, but that would be so cool to get in something like that, and I would like to see a life-size version of it.
I was going to say that's the ultimate lowrider, baby.
Yeah, yeah.
Imagine that.
You're bouncing in
Right?
that bad boy.
You can go
Or you want to ride on a little
anywhere with this
slant.
thing.
You could ride with the front wheels down and the back up. I don't think you could have customization.
You know what though?
With
this
attitude.
part,
This is the best part about it, guys. This right here, they drop you off in a dead forest.
hold on, but the best
now
part
you're
about
ready to
this is to hell with GPS.
Yeah,
You got your own route.
yes, this is true. It's true. And I'm sure that the same device that dropped you off can lock in and pick you back up. But my
Oh yeah,
question
and
is,
now the thing is that
Let's
the
go, Hans. I
UAV
like that
thing.
one.
yeah.
Now here's the thing: they can charge one another.
Marcel says it almost sold him until
Hey.
he saw it was made by Hyundai. No
Hey,
thanks.
hey. I resemble that remark, okay?
Give me a second. I have to check
In the garage, I got a Hyundai Santa Fe and a Hyundai
something
Kona.
on the stove.
Okay, so
You know
they
what?
provide good value. Good
Maybe
value.
they'll retrofit it for you.
Meanwhile, do you realize what Hyundai owns? Half of the shipping in this world, okay?
No, but yeah, what I was saying that the UAV or the little Tiger rolling car there, they can charge one another if whichever one needs the charge. But I would assume that you would probably get the charge from the UAV coming back to.
Well, yeah, one of them will be the tender, basically. One of them will have a larger energy store, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well,
you know what's great about that is the adaptability of it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought it was nice.
Yeah.
And then
Welcome back, Pratt Place.
What happened? Oh, and I heard that Ford now.
Welsh Rob's friend, he invited him
in the next couple of years, or so the next 2 years or so, to try to go electric.
Oh,
over
I know this
Europe.
guy.
They're trying to switch over to their productions in Europe to electric.
Yeah, did you hear that? By 2030,
yeah, well,
they will not be selling a single gasoline only engine.
Yeah.
And by 2035, only pure electric on the European
that would be great.
continent.
That would be great.
That's what they're trying to do over in Europe.
Well, it's actually where we should have been about 25, 30 plus years ago.
I was going to say about 20. So the fact 20.
Okay. But, you know,
25.
Detroit had their own plans. So.
Problem's still in batteries.
Charging.
Well, you know what? Battery technology. Look, there's a codependency here, right? What do you need battery technology for if you don't have an active alternative energy program to begin with? So, therefore, you stifle battery development. Mm-hmm. And, you know, that Detroit was behind all of that.
Carbon fuel.
Well, there are companies that are doing this, and even they are having issues with pushing that. Because
but look at the window. Yeah, okay. So let's talk about how relative this is. You have a situation where the automotive industry suppressed that innovation for decades and decades. Okay. So nobody was coming up in those fields except for other arenas. Now look at the development that's happened since you owned your first Mavic, or even better yet, since you owned your first Phantom. Mm-hmm. Look at where battery technology is today.
True.
Okay.
Yeah. I was talking with that about
we're talking about a consumer hobby industry for all intents and purposes. And I don't mean to slight all you Part 107 flyers out there, but let's be real about it. Okay. And the reality is, look at the development that's happening. You got snowblowers now that come with
battery
two
operated.
50-amp packs you can put
Yeah.
in and go snow blow for 2.5 hours.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
Okay,
true.
with rapid charging capability, you can be back out there in
Almost
another
full.
hour. Yeah, well, you know, come on, you know,
I
Makita,
almost bought one.
all these companies that are taking advantage of this. Come on, I got a sawzall, a circular
Tim
saw, a
Jackson,
jigsaw, and an
Jackson.
impact driver, all for $150. You know, with 40-volt batteries.
Tim Jackson, it's always been like
What's up,
that.
Tim?
There were guys who came out with inventions of cars that ran on a tank of gas for crazy long times. Those ideas and patents have disappeared. So has the people that were trying to push it. Like was mentioned before, the auto industry stifled the use of going digital in their cars
Well,
because they wanted
anything but
they wanted to keep
combustion
burning
engine.
the fossilized fuels, the carbon making
They don't
fuel.
have the conversion kit for the Volkswagens to use what do you call it?
Have you
Cooking
driven
grease
an electric vehicle?
to cook, use
Smart
cooking
internet
oil.
connected snowblowers. Well, you want to know what show? I have not seen an internet connected snowblower, but I have seen an internet
It's
connected
for sale. You
lawnmower
can buy it direct.
for agricultural reasons, where it's an actual robot that you actually show the dimensions of the property you
It
want.
uses
About the size of a car.
it uses you're putting perimeter
Yes.
markers in,
Yes.
and that's all it's
Roomba.
doing. It's
From
like
your house,
Roomba.
right.
Think about it. It's like your Roomba,
Like the Roomba.
except don't let your cat ride on top of it. Okay.
I want to know.
I
what
watched
kind
one of them
cats are
negotiate
these.
the dog sleeping on the floor.
I want to know what kind
Absolutely.
of cats are these that ride on these Roombas, because I don't know any cats in my neighborhood that would do that.
Oh man, please! I wound
Animals
up
out there
getting
with some
cats.
personality.
I wound up getting cats through a custody dispute and a divorce, man. So I don't know how that. And I got the kids too. How the hell did that happen? So, you know, these cats were hilarious, man. The stuff they would do. I'd come home and my son would entertain himself for hours with a laser pointer and 3 cats. Okay. So
yeah, poor cat.
you know, cats will wind up doing anything they want to because they are in control of their own destiny.
Because they're natural predators and they feel that they have to get anything they don't understand.
Not only that, but they gotta rule everything. Okay, so
it's sad.
Everything's done on their time. It's you know.
Is that the new those guys logo, Phantom? Oh, I think he sees your shirt on the side there.
That's the same logo from the
yeah, it's the same one that was created for us.
From the what do you call it?
Nacho.
What
He
the heck
created Rogers Canadian Drone Hub. He created Furballs, Furball Kim's logo. Yes, he did help us out.
For the Facebook group.
Huh?
Yeah, it's the logo for the Facebook group.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Drone
As
Shots?
for those guys, actually.
We've been running slowly out of oil up north here. Got to think of the future. Well, it's not running out of oil. What it is, they're starting to realize now it's cheaper to make a battery than it is to make an engine that chugs oil.
Let's look. Storage has been the big problem, right? And we're starting to get a handle on the storage. Now,
that was with the
production of electricity now takes several different forms that we have to start leveraging here. You fly out of Amsterdam or you fly over the North Atlantic, you're going to see wind turbine farms
all over,
going out forever. Mm-hmm. Okay. When we're out in the Southwest, the difference between my electric bill out there and what I'm paying here is ridiculous.
It is. It is.
We have solar farms out there. We have solar thermal farms out there.
Well, what happened to the
Hoover Dam hydroelectric?
What happened to the wind farm they were supposed to be putting off the coast of New York, between New York and New Jersey?
Oh, it might impact my view of the Atlantic.
Yeah, okay. Let me tell you something about New York and why New York can't get a lot of things done. Yeah. Because everybody wants it as long as it's not in my backyard.
Yep, true.
Put it in his yard. I don't care.
That's true.
And the problem is, here's the
Remember
problem.
when we had the transfer stations for the garbage?
Hey, Bob Casey.
Manhattan was the borough that didn't even want to handle their own garbage.
But we didn't mind sending it to Jersey, did we? Okay. See, part of the issue that you face here is when we say put it in my neighbor's backyard, not mine, we're right on top of each other here.
Electric at the moment.
So not my neighbor, the guy next door, the guy I'm talking about.
No. Well, the problem is these things wind up, and then what happens is they wind up, in neighborhoods that can't really support them. We gotta think this stuff through, and plus, look at all these. We have a situation here where we have multi-tenant buildings, right? I had a friend from way back on the job, and he left the job and he went to the feds, and his wife, started her own alternative like energy solutions designer company. On Atlantic Avenue over by Carroll Gardens. And she was instrumental in getting these inverted wind turbines or wind circulators up on these apartment buildings to the point where, a 12-unit apartment building, this landlord's not charging his tenants for electric. And he's still selling electric back to Con Ed.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So why are we not doing this? So where's the offset? So the offset for this guy was 15 years. 15 years, right?
Right.
Then you add in the incentives and everything else. He's down around 8 years. Mm-hmm. Think about the investment there. So now float the guy a very low interest on that. And that will start to generate, these landlords. Look at the value there. They're selling electric back to the power companies. The power companies have an obligation to buy that electric back.
You're absolutely right on that one, Tom. But you know what? I used to work down at the Brooklyn office of the union, and we used to get these Dodge reports that come in when they're planning to do something in the city, like they want to do a job over there or a park or something or whatever. It doesn't matter. Yeah. And what I used to do with the Dodge report is I would get copies of this thing and send out this information to the companies that do this type of work in our area so they can bid on these jobs. And that once you did that, sad enough that this wasn't going to happen until after the thieves get their hands on it and everybody picks it apart and they get their hand in the cookie jar, and then
everybody's got to get a taste, right?
Right, but it's like it's crazy.
I know.
And
hey,
that's
Eddie,
why things don't get done.
Eddie brings up
they imploded.
Who caught the implosion today of the Trump?
I saw it on the TV, but I didn't.
Trump Plaza Hotel in Atlantic City. NBC actually, I think I said to you, Eddie, too, that NBC had coverage both from the air and the ground. So that was a good one. Those guys are skilled, man.
Hey, Pratt players.
Those explosives.
Demolition people. It was a clean explosion.
They had that thing sit.
It was a clean.
It was very clean. They had it sit right down.
Yeah. They made it go straight down.
Right down, man.
Right where it was supposed to. But in answer to what you were saying, Pratt Plays, here in New York City, I can't say United States. Here in New York City, when you buy an e-car or a car that runs that you can plug in, you get an app with your car that you install on your phone, and it shows you all of the charging spots in New York City. For example, at Calvert Vaux Park, they have a solar and all of the charging stations that I've seen.
Charging's no longer a problem in New York City. It's when you get out of the city.
Right. Now that's
when you get out of the densely populated areas.
That's another issue.
When you get out of the densely populated areas, you're going to find plenty of charging. You're not going to find many charging locations.
Right.
But the cities now are pretty well ramped up.
Yes.
And then there's going to be brakes on Easy Pass. There's already incentives on green vehicles, as green vehicles can use the HOV or multi-passenger lanes at any time of day with a single passenger. Okay, if it's an electric vehicle or hybrid vehicle, it can use the HOV lane. Okay, um, and the thing is, oh well, Schwab, I appreciate it, thanks, man. but you know, look, if you've never driven an electric car, let me tell you something. You put your foot down on the accelerator, you have instant power. Okay, there is no hesitation. And we're used to modern gasoline vehicles today where we don't think there's any hesitation. Believe me, it's night and day when you get into an electric vehicle.
No, there's tons of hesitation in there because you got
look. There's always going to be the muscle cars. There's always going to be the
Hey Robert,
the auctions
how are you?
and but electric vehicles are the way to go. I mean, the other thing electric vehicles do for you is they lower that center of gravity. They make the vehicles a heck of a lot more stable too.
Yes, because of the large batteries.
Yeah,
but like,
and the other thing that you can do with the electric vehicle is, hey, when you pull into a gas station on that day, no matter what time of day, gas is whatever price it is. When you have an electric vehicle, you actually program your vehicle to charge on the off hours. Okay. To amortage it, to basically what you're doing is you're saving that energy cost from the high peak hours. And that's where the storage technology is really coming into play. Because think about it, if you can charge and store energy at late at night, where energy is much, much cheaper, okay? Just check your electric bill, you'll see energy you use during certain times of day are different costs.
Yes,
okay?
They are.
Those peak hour energy costs are significantly higher. Now imagine if you can save energy from those low cost periods and then use that energy during the high cost periods.
Right.
Okay. Completely legal to do. And that's what a lot of these systems are starting to sell. And now think about it when it comes to your vehicle. Now, I remember looking at the Tesla. Tesla had actually a showroom in Roosevelt Field for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember going in there, and on one of the big flat screen touch monitors, they had where you plug in your zip code. It knows what you pay for electric there. You put in how many miles a year you drive. It knows what your local gas prices were, and it would show you the offset between what you would normally pay for gasoline for the same mileage off of what you'd pay in your area for electric. And I would say hands down, it was always cheaper to run off of electric. Now, of course, the big issue there is the term range anxiety, right? How far can I get? Okay. Am I going to be stranded somewhere because I have nowhere to charge? So that has completely changed in the industry too, because it used to be what you get a couple 100 miles.
Yeah.
Now you're matching what you get off of a tank of gas. So of course you say, well, I can still get gas anywhere.
$1.48 a day. Robert is saying.
What is that?
Robert C. He's saying the price of the charge his wife's car is $1.48 a day.
Yeah. It's ridiculous, right?
I just did, Rob. Welsh Rob just sent me a picture of a Type S, of course, Tesla, getting airborne. And I was just telling him that it's got to be plated on the bottom, because you get a car that heavy in the air, it's going to bottom out. And if the batteries and stuff aren't protected, that could be an issue.
That car is very well protected. I mean, it's engineered very well. There needs to be.
It has to be, to keep the batteries on the bottom safe. Definitely.
Eventually.
Yeah, Texas, we've already set up out for a lot of people there, unfortunately.
Well, I don't know if you know, but New York City, NYPD, now has a fleet of electric police cars. And of course, that fleet will continue to grow. NYPD replaces 1/3 of their entire fleet every year.
That is actually ideal in the city limits, truthfully, than to use a gas-powered vehicle.
Well, they're getting the technology, Herman, to the
Well, they
point
need it to
where
keep up with
you
these
can
damn
fully
Teslas.
charge. You can charge a vehicle. Okay, I was reading about this just yesterday. That there's a company, that just got a ton of venture capitalist dollars. That is come out with a technology, and of course now, it's got to be developed and released. But they're figuring anywhere from a 2 to 4 year period where they can charge a battery. We're talking about automotive from 50% to 100% in less than 10 minutes. Okay, so with that type of technology in place, look, no matter where you go, see, this is the difference. You can't think about going to your local mall. Okay, for us, Roosevelt Field, Green Acres, wherever, even Queens Center. You pull in your spot at Queens Center Mall, there isn't a gas pump there, ready to take on 87 octane. But you know what can be there is an electric charging station. Think about how ubiquitous these electric charging stations can become. You go to the supermarket, you pull into a spot. There's going to be a point in time where the charging becomes wireless. You pull the vehicle over, there's a plate in the ground. Now you could be hooked up,
Listen,
with a pay-as-you-go service.
Tom, that's very smart.
Station, I would have one right next to
Herman, do you remember the guy we were I think we were packing up to leave Calvert? You remember the guy that pulled up with the e-car to the charging station, and he walked around. He must have just brought the car, and he took it to the I guess to charging station to top it off or whatever. But he walked around the car, walked back around the car. He was there for a good 5-10 minutes before he realized he didn't know what a charging plug was. Of course, the little hatch.
He was doing.
Yeah.
Now he was in his car pressing buttons. The hood was opening. The trunk was doing this. The gas cap was popping open, but he could not find the switch or button to open up with the plug in his car. So eventually he looked around. He played it off real cool. Walked around his car again, to get one more look. And he got in his car and just drove off.
Drove away. Look, you know what? Think about how simple this is now. You turn around, right? And say I pay to have my vehicle topped off by this electric cooperative.
Yeah.
They have my banking information or my credit card information. Now, whenever I pull into one of these marked spots, if my car needs to be topped off, it automatically gets topped off, and I get that amount debited, right? So it's think about, it's not too far off. We have easy passes now. Look, we have easy passes for people who don't have easy pass. If you don't have easy pass, you can still get across the bridge. We're going to send you the bill because the cameras are so damn good. They got you.
Right.
Okay. And it's going to be, it's this wireless approach that is really going to make those charging stations ubiquitous throughout the country.
Right.
Somebody said earlier that
universal charging station.
Driving on I-5 in California for the first, when it first opened, there were signs all over that said there are no fuel stops along this road.
That's what Joe mentioned earlier.
Right.
Yep. And make sure you fill up.
Look at what's changed. Look at what's changed. So you put a gas station everywhere. Gas stations are not the safest operations on the planet. Because there's so many of them, we've made them safe, right?
Yeah, and the fact that the price can change from shipment to shipment.
Yeah, But look at how easy it is to deploy this electric gridded system. Okay, except for you people down in Texas, you want your own system entirely. Okay, but think about how easy it would be actually to deploy something like this. Right. A lot easier, I think, down the road. It's the storage of energy that is the key.
Well, if you remember, you mentioned it earlier, Tom, that the battery technology has changed to the point where 3 to 5 years ago, and this is very short time, 3 to 5 years ago, to buy a solar powered home was not the issue. The issue was the battery technology, where back then, 3 to 5 years, they said literally it would take years to reap your your rewards and see the trickle back. Now with the solar panels and the battery systems that they have, it's 3 to 6 months, and you see the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Also, the batteries,
Absolutely.
like Tom said, the batteries don't take all day to charge. They don't need much sunlight. So once they do top off, if there's a blackout, you're good for the next 3 to 5 days. You know?
Yeah, Tesla calls it their time-based control system, and that's where when energy prices are high, okay, the power wall optimizes itself to use its low-cost bank power during those periods, and then it purchases its refill during off-peak hours.
Give me a second. I have to pay the water bill.
So, that's what works well, and that's what's actually turning the tide. Now, of course, you would think, well, the electric companies wouldn't want you to do that. They'd have to say, hey, we're going to amortize your electric cost over the entire period. Guess what? They can't do that because the regulations are already in there, and that's good for us as the consumer. So, you know, that's the way to approach it. It's not just the solar, it's not just the wind, it's not just the hydroelectric, it's the storage. The storage is the key here. Okay?
Yeah.
Having enough stores to support the need. Now, also you said the battery technology, right? So I'll give you a case in point with the RV industry. A standard wet cell battery, 100 amp wet cell battery.
Right.
Okay. 100 amp hour wet cell battery. Don't get that sucker below 50 amp hours. You're damaging the battery.
Right.
Same thing with a AGM battery. A lot lighter than the wet cell battery, sealed, less maintenance. But again, 100 amp hour battery is still only a 50 amp hour battery to you. Now, go with lithium ion, like a Battleborn 100 amp Battleborn lithium battery. And that 100 amps is 95 to you. Because you can bring them down to 5% without damage. So big difference. Big difference in a few different ways now. You have a battery cost that more than quadrupled. Okay. So your battery that would have cost you normally $250 for a 100 amp AGM battery is now going to cost you $1,000 for that same battery. Okay. But here's one other side of the coin. That lithium battery is a little less than a third of the weight of that AGM battery. Okay. So now the 4 batteries, weigh a fraction of what their counterparts did on the older technology. That saves you in fuel cost if you're pulling, towing, or driving a vehicle with those batteries on it, right? But see, the battery technology is the key to storage, getting the most you can out of that same size. Optimizing that
you
capability
see what Robert put?
is key.
That was always the issue.
You see what Rob put? Our Tesla has 70% charge at any given time. My wife does not even drive very long distances. It's to make sure
the perfect application, right? That's the perfect application. And that's why they sell so well around the densely urban areas.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's where they shine.
Robert, you and your wife should just get in the car one day and test that baby out.
And drive.
Yeah, come on, baby. Where's
just go.
So you don't think, you think we're the only ones on the drone side who do these range tests, right? Go up and search on YouTube. You're going to find the same damn thing. There's channels devoted to how far I can drive my goddamn Tesla.
All I'm going to say to you,
before I got to flatbed it back home.
All I'm going to say to you is this. It's easier to push some of these gas vehicles than it is to push that Tesla.
Yeah.
Just, I got to say, man, when you, and Robin, tell us, right? When you hit that accelerator pedal, it's just a different feeling.
It's that there is no
lag.
It's that instant power. Exactly.
Yeah,
gas power, you have to push the pedal a little. as you go. Where electric, if you have a heavy foot, you will be hard on the brakes.
Well,
But
the other thing is the regenerative braking
on electric vehicles. But we need to get to the next story.
Yeah, but Tom, you had brought something to our attention with this controller. I don't know if you had any information on it.
So the motion controller. So this is pretty pretty good news as far as I'm concerned. It's so there's talk that and Herman will share the link to the video so you guys can consume that after the stream. There's talk about DJI releasing a motion controller as an option with the FPV drone. Okay. So what do I mean by motion controller?
I have a picture.
Basically a device you hold in your hand, and the movement of your hand, whether you're pitching, rolling, yawing.
There you go.
Okay. There's let me see what you're showing here.
Yes, this is further on. This is further on in the video, but it's the best description of what you're talking about.
Right. So your speed would be handled by the depress of the trigger.
Yes.
Okay. AKA RC ground. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Motion, your pitch would be controlled by tilting,
wrist
forward
movement,
and back.
all wrist work.
All wrist work. Now think about it. You got the goggles on and trying to get through that tight spot, right? And it's all this. Okay. Now, how do you isolate that? So one thing is you wanna yaw and keep that rotation going. So I imagine there'll be like a detent where you get to a certain point and then you can't just keep turning your hand, but you get to a certain point and it'll keep rolling around. This is the video we're talking about. You don't have to play this video. The guy he's got an infrared thermometer in his hand. He's trying to show the action with that. But this is a better representation. Now, a few years back, I had picked up a hand controller for the Maverick series that was on a crowdfunding site.
Here's the link.
Kickstarter. No, actually it was Indiegogo. And it was basically developed by a astronaut physician.
I'm sorry, Tom.
And it worked, but it had too much latency in it. I think it's circulating 5 boroughs right now. If I'm not mistaken, Big John has it right now. Okay.
That was that product that came out by Scott Parazinski.
Yes, yeah. Scott put that out. Yeah. He's a cardiologist and a NASA astronaut for a few missions. But he came out with that because he wanted to prove the value of that type of haptic controller.
Right.
A natural controller for actually doing remote surgery. Okay.
Well, that's where he got the idea from, he said, right?
Not just got the idea, but wanted to refine it so it could be leveraged even more so in that arena. Remember his medical background, right?
Right.
But, you know, I like the idea of this. It has some possible pitfalls, but I think this, coupled with those goggles.
Hold on, Tom. This was one of the first versions, similar to like what you were talking about.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
Well, you have one that's very similar to that right there. Yes, that controls your drone.
So basically, we're talking about, you know, if you can switch off that video for a second. But yeah, you know, basically you're talking about a control where, you know, I want to fly forward, I pitch forward. Okay. I can roll side to side. I can yaw. And with the trigger, I'm not firing missiles. This is going to be my accelerator. Okay. Or, ascend, descend. So it's going to be interesting to see how they employ it, but it being offered as an option, okay.
And if it's DJI, I would think it would I think the flyaway issues would be a lot less than what I saw with the what was the name of that controller?
I forget what the name
Hello,
is.
the View Chaser. I'm sorry we missed you. How are you? And welcome.
But it good concept, poor implementation.
Everything has its ups and downs, and they've been developing for a minute now.
Yeah, it only cost me several $100, but yeah, it has its ups and downs.
Sorry about that, Doug, but they've been but these type of controllers have been in development for a long time. I've even seen a glove that they're working on. They're doing.
Well, they've already assimilated it into video game playing. Now it's a matter of taking it and applying it to something physical. In a video game, it's a lot easier to go like this.
Can I break this down? Can I break this down to the basics for us big boys with toys?
Folk.
Okay, big boys and Lost Girl Hacks. Big boys and girls with toys. Imagine flying your FPV, Lawrence, like a fighter pilot.
Yeah.
Fighter pilots don't do this.
You're right. They don't pinch.
Okay, they don't do this.
That. You're right.
They don't do this either.
Yeah.
They do this.
The stick is
So, that's what we're talking about, right?
100%. Hey, Fly Girl, how are you? And welcome.
Yes, yes. Ken Herron did review that product. Actually, got into words with Scott over it.
Yes,
because Ken didn't pull any punches with it.
It was rumored that he was sent a broken version, and then he was sent a second one, and he still wasn't happy with it. If you guys remember that video,
I guess I got a broken one too. Then.
Well, Lawrence, let's be real about it. We saw what happened with Bill. We saw what happened with Ken.
Oh, you mean the flyaway?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a connection issue.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, there was problems with that thing.
Yeah. If you guys have not seen it,
somebody to get hurt.
If you guys have not seen it and you want a good laugh, and this is in no way making fun of Bill, the drone reviewer, but it was interesting.
Out there anymore, that video.
It was interesting. If he still has the video up,
I doubt it.
Huh?
I doubt it.
You don't think so?
Nah, I don't think so. Because that caused the whole big, and I don't even want to.
Yeah, we won't go into that.
Hey, Sean, how are you, man? Sean's headed off to bed, but enjoyed that episode with Ken. That was
yes. Have a great evening, Sean.
Yeah.
Good night, Sean. That was
had a lot of fun with that, Sean.
Show,
thank you.
We appreciate the support all the time.
Had a few choice comments, but I didn't get to watch it live, but I'll catch up with you.
All right, what are we doing next in news?
NUAIR is issued a UTM RFI, a request for information. They're looking into long-term development of the New York drone corridor. NUAIR, New York's UAS testing site organization, has issued a UTM request for information. The test site is a major testing for UTM capabilities, having developed a 50-mile corridor that enables the testing of advanced drone operations.
Rochester to Utica.
Now, NUAIR is beginning to elevate UTM products that will eventually implement within to this drone highway and probably even into the state. So, like I said, they're looking to
looking for companies.
They're looking to start to advance the progress that's going on over there. With this whole beyond thing and looking at
so government RFIs, the way it works basically is NUAIR is doing a solicitation right now.
Right.
Okay. So solicitations come in a couple of different forms. One is a contract solicitation, means there's already existing OGS or government contracts. Then you have a bid solicitation. Now, bid solicitation is a lockdown specification, goes out to bid. People bid on it, and it's the lowest compliant bidder wins. Okay. You got no choice in the matter. Okay. Then you have RFIs and RFPs. RFIs are the most flexible of the procurement mechanisms because an RFI is just that, a request for information. Various companies will come and promote the way they would do it. Okay. Now, They could be promoting something they already have or something they're looking to develop.
Right,
A
promoting
request for proposal is
promoting their
basically
data
coming in
top.
and proposing a solution. Now, the nice thing about on the government entity or the buyer's side of the fence on this is you're not locked down to the lowest price or the lowest compliant price. You could be looking at certain innovations that you didn't even think about. And the RFI is just that. It's to scratch the what are the possibilities landscape. Okay. And that's what's very heartening to see about this UTM solicitation, is because it does open the field to innovation. What would you do if you had an opportunity? How would you deploy, or what aspects would you enhance? We're all going to benefit out of that.
Right, because basically they were talking about the consistency with NASA's UTM architecture is what they want to stay.
Right, they want it to be very similar, if not as close, well, very similar to that architecture that they're looking for. NASA's UTM architecture covers from the ground all the way up into space.
So Sean from Geeks Mana says their solicitations, some can end in a jail cell. Again, it's all location based. Okay. I know you're in the UK. You go take a trip over the Netherlands. I don't think the same holds true there, right? In certain places.
Well, basically, what this is all looking forward is the commercialization of.
Hey, Rob, take care. Have a good night, Rob.
Applications.
Rob, yes.
In New York.
Yeah. Well, applications specific to that corridor, or specific to some of the programs going on that are complementary to what's going on up in that corridor. Yeah.
Well, this is what they're looking maybe to trickle out into the real world aspect.
Oh yeah, yeah, sure, absolutely. You know, the universal traffic management system, okay, is going to wind up having aspects implemented enterprise wide or solution wide here. So the more innovation, okay, the more diversity they can bring into this environment, the better off we're going to be served in the long run.
True. Some of these things that they're going on with here up in there, is why they're able to even roll out, the things that we're looking at, and at the timeline in which we're looking at them with, we knew what was going to be announced this last December. We knew it was coming. And when it's going to happen, actually keeping in line with all of the developments and all the things that's been going on there. And Lawrence and I were looking at a few things for like the last couple of years when they had actually our first whiff of the symposium, and then when they started talking about this 50-mile corridor up there in upstate New York.
And Tom, my friend, they're running it from Rome, New York to Utica, New York, and I have a nephew-in-law that lives in Utica, New York, and randomly they would get either texts and or emails saying that they'll be doing testing in the area. If you own a UAV, you are suggested to not use it. This is a temporary no-fly zone while they're doing certain testing. And he would say at certain parts of Utica, you would see drones going in different directions because it was a spectacle to see. You don't expect to see if you see one drone, that's a sight alone. But if you see a drone go by in this direction, you see another one go by at a different altitude, and you start looking up and seeing this stuff.
So it sounds like a meetup.
It does, right? He's like, would you come up here and fly? I'm like, dude, I can't fly with all of that stuff going on up there. I'd like to go up there and see it though, and the fact that they were testing different drone types, because he would try and send me pictures, cell phone pictures.
They were working on the beyond visual line of sight up there.
Huh?
They were working on the beyond visual line of sight.
That's what the corridor is set up for.
Right. Depending on what part of town they were flying over or near, they didn't fly exactly over Utica. It was in and around the.
No, but that's what I said. This not the last symposium, but the one before.
Yes, they
And they were
predicted
talking
that
about
50-mile corridor.
No, they had just implemented. They were talking about the fact that the cameras on these drones needed to get better for beyond visual line of sight. So all of the see and avoid, the detections and stuff like that.
Detect and avoid.
Yeah, being able to detect, the sensors that are on these drones now.
Right.
I listened to a guy say to someone before about talking about the Mini and why they thought the Mini might
the
be
biggest picture I could get of the corridor.
dangerous for someone who's never seen a drone before because it doesn't have sensors on it. And I was like, damn, how spoiled have we gotten? When I first started flying the drone, there was no such thing as sensors on the drone.
True.
Now
this is true.
Now we need sensors all over, underneath, under the armpit, and one in now it has a sensor on the damn battery.
Hey, Rob. I mean Bill. I said Rob. Rob. I was looking at Rob's name.
Bill.
How are you, Bill?
Well, Ken Herron said on Sean's show that he made a confession that he always turns all his sensors off.
You know the hotel behind the lighthouse over there in Atlantic City?
Yes, the one with the big golf ball, the digital ball on top.
Turn your sensors on.
Yeah, that's the one that that Ken Herron hit. And I knew he had hit a hotel in Atlantic City, but I didn't know which one until Herman pointed it out. He's like, the big one with the golf ball, which is actually the digital ball on top. Yes,
now
he actually hit that one because the sensors were off. Blue slip. And I know people in New York that have turned their sensors off
that.
And we named a move after this guy. We used to call it the Elliot.
had I not had the sensors on, she would not have. Well, it's funny because she went up to 400 feet and went straight at the building. And once it detected the building, it stopped and went up over the roof of the building and came back. Now I was headed in the other direction when it was returning to home, but
Yeah. I have never turned my sensors off after hearing what happened to Elliot and a few other pilots here in New York.
Well, I got Elliot at Valentino Park. He was flying above me, and he kept screaming at me. Actually, I'm standing next to him, and he's yelling at me, "Why are you flying over me? Why are you flying over me?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about, Elliot?
Right.
Calm down." He goes, look up. And I look up, and there's a Mavic about 30 feet off his port side.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, that's you. I go, Elliot, I'm over by Liberty. I'm over by the statue.
Mm-hmm. And he's
nowhere near you
to get away from him, right?
And he's screaming. He goes, I don't believe you. And I'm like, look at my screen. And then he was like, oh, somebody. Well, you remember that day, guys. I think you had a canary, Lawrence, didn't you? At Valentino?
Yeah, that was my meetup.
Yeah. So.
That was my meetup. And I was actually...
He had rogue flyers at his meetup.
I was pissed off about it because for those of you who don't know and haven't flown with us here in New York, what we would do is the moderators of the group were supposed to get to the place early. So if they wanted to fly, they could fly early. And then the moderators of the group, which was at the time NYC 5 Borough Drone Meetup, would then break off into other groups. And Tom is a 107 pilot, an advanced pilot. So I was like, everybody that knows how to fly, go over there and hang out with Tom. And then I would take the new pilots, because every meetup, you remember, Tom and Herman, that we had new pilots would show up. And nobody...
And you wanted to welcome.
You know what? It's funny.
Yeah.
I man, you talk about new pilots showing up at meetups. You know who needed to be babysat more than the new pilots? The old pilots. We had a meetup over by Queensbridge, and we had a few new pilots there who paid attention to the rules, asked a lot of questions.
Yes.
But when you started checking altitudes of the older pilots, you're like, you know what? Please keep that to yourself. I'm gonna be over here with the new guys.
Yeah. But that was back before we started using radios. But getting back to it, I was in a group with about 3 or 4 new pilots, and they were going out, and we had it like a runway. They were taking off, drones were taking off to go to at this time, you could get closer to the Statue of Liberty than you can present day. And I need to state that, Tom.
What's good?
I have to put that in. Hey, Metro, how are you? Thank you for coming. I have to state that, Tom. Remember, we could get a lot closer to the Statue of Liberty back
Things
then.
change.
Now that it's changed, you can't get half as close. But I sent a
100
pilot
feet
out,
perimeter.
and about halfway out, a new pilot goes, I have to come back. I'm starting to sweat. I'm like, what's the matter? He says, I'm starting to feel lightheaded. I said, just breathe. Anyway, I made him turn around. And come back.
Yeah.
And then in the middle of this, while Tom is with advanced pilots, and there were other pilots trying to do their own thing, because we could only have a certain amount of drones in the air to maintain order. And two guys just walk straight into the meetup, pull their drones out. Hey, hi, how you doing? They pull their drones out and go up in the air and head straight towards the Statue of Liberty. Now, when we were flying this run, if you remember, Tom, your guys were yelling, I'm on my way back. I'm on my way there. I'm at this altitude. It was well organized. These two guys didn't even give a damn. They just went up in the air. And I explained to them, you just can't come to a meetup and just take off. There were people in the air, and I wouldn't have, hey, Mr. Crowley, I would not have felt bad if they had caused someone else's drone to go down and they had gotten poked with a stick.
Well, see, here's the thing that, some people don't take into consideration. Your drone hitting my drone over the harbor means we probably just lost $3,000 worth of merchandise
combined.
Yeah. So, and somebody is going to have DJI care, and that's not going to count because unless with the new policy now, the flyaway program.
Right. Now you don't have to recover your drone, but at that time, if you had DJI care, you needed to recover your drone and claim it.
It's just that, consideration has to be given. We fly in congested areas, and we fly as a group because we try to get together and, each one teach one kind of philosophy. But, you'll have people that walk in and are ignorant to what you're trying to accomplish.
Show. Thanks for coming in. Good night.
You know what? It just, you can't lose your shit over it. You just got to deal with it. And, the next time you put the feelers out to a narrower crowd, that's all. I mean,
but see what it was, being that NYC Fireborough drone meetup is, and probably still is, one of the largest active drone groups in the New York City metropolitan area. Everyone was swarming to us. Because no matter what borough you were in, if you were having a meetup, 15, 20 people show up. By the
people coming from out of state, dude.
30-something
people. It was an organization at one point.
It was organized.
Look. We're not here to disparage the organization. There's good people. There's good people in these organizations, and you take exception to some things that go on, but as a whole, there are a bunch of good people in the group.
Yes, as a whole, yes, I agree with you on that.
I've developed some which are going to be lifelong friendships with some of these people.
Oh, yeah, and, definitely. Like I said, but when I was
some people rub you the wrong way, and you want to smack them.
You go to this location over here, and there's a guy. This guy's a tall dude. His name is Lawrence. He runs the whole thing.
Tom, when Herman told me this, I was like, you got to be freaking kidding me. Listen to this, Tom. Listen to this. This is him and Elliot.
I met Lawrence over by Grand Ferry.
Grand Ferry.
Because I was told, this is where they're meeting up at. Go over there. There's a tall dude. His name is Lawrence. He runs the whole thing. I was like, oh, okay.
Lies. It was what everybody thought, because for some reason I have what you call teacher syndrome. I used to be a high school teacher, and I don't mind taking the new pilots off to the side and not flying. There were times we had meetups and I didn't get a chance to fly. In fact, you guys know her, Deneen.
I didn't know anyone.
Not Captures Life. I forget her Instagram, but Deneen
Pigon
first came to us. She had the little breeze, and everybody. If we were over by Transmitter Park, if you remember, It was windy as hell, and she's like, I'm not really comfortable with all these drones flying. It was, when we fly, it's like an airport. People are coming in. Some guys are yelling and coming in hot, just clear the path.
Way too many
stuff.
times.
And I actually pulled her to the side, and we just practiced going up and down. And that was 2.5 years ago. And if you look at her pictures now from when she first started, I'm glad to be a part of that, to show somebody, it's each one teach one. She's a great photographer with drone pictures and video.
She's a great photographer, and she added the new point of view flying the drones. Yeah.
I mean, she's advanced to the point where I can't even call her grasshopper anymore. She takes better camera drone pictures than I do.
That was the same day that other guy came out for the first time too. With I don't remember his name. He had the dog.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Because that same guy,
the dog with the sunglasses,
to Randall's Island,
coolest dog going, right?
Yeah.
That dog hung all day long with a pair of sunglasses and a bandana on.
Yeah.
He actually lives in Astoria. If you guys,
by Astoria Park.
This guy came to the meetup, and his dog wore sunglasses the whole time, and you would think that a dog wouldn't keep them on.
No, he was the coolest.
The whole time there, the dog wore the glasses and was greeting people and chilling and hanging out with us and running around.
We were flying drones all around him too.
Yes, and he didn't even snap at one. The drones didn't bother him, nothing. He actually lives across the street from Astoria Park.
Yeah, from Astoria Park over on 18th Street.
Yes. All right, where are we going next?
Well, we go into the unmanned helicopter. Now, it's funny that we talk about this unmanned helicopter because we talked about one before. And the reason why I mention that is you'll see with this, because here we have a Swiss company has unveiled a cargo helicopter with a 65 kilogram or 143.300 pound payload.
Dual prop.
Now, this here flies for 4-hour flight time.
I'll be right back.
Now, the Swiss company, what's the name of this company, Lawrence?
ANAVIA. I say ANAVIA.
Is a Swiss company that has this unmanned helicopter, the HT-100. They claim to be the most advanced unmanned aerial vehicle system in the world, believe it or not. Now, as we know, this unmanned helicopter has the capability of a 65 kilogram payload and to fly for 240 minutes of flight time.
And this is the control panel, which is an actual ground station as well.
They claim that this is the new benchmark in safety, performance, and ease of operations, according to them.
Yes.
Now, the reason why I say that is because we had mentioned one before, which happens to be a hybrid. And it was, what was the name of that company there, Lawrence? Quantarium. Quantarium.
Yes.
Had an 8-hour and 10-minute flight. So I don't know. Well, this company here is coming with this, but actually, they're coming from a manufacturing heritage which they established in 2019 as a subsidiary of the Canova Group. They're a global development and manufacturing of carbon composite products for aerospace and motor racing sector.
Yes.
So
I just like the fact that it's a dual prop.
This one that this is their actual first drone product ever in the industry. So, and it's it's a biggie. I like it.
I like it, like I said, because of the fact it's dual prop, and the way that this thing looks, it's definitely from the future. But even more so, when you buy this is what comes with it. This ground station right here, which they call mission control, and
that thing needs a
the range is 400 kilometers. It's saying right here. I like the fact you have GPS up as well as thermal on your on the control pad. You have a full QWERTY standardized keyboard with several other options. One, I'm looking here. I'm assuming this red button here is an arm, disarm, because the cap's down. I don't know, but I'll actually give you guys the link so you can check it out. Just go to product here. Product, it'll show you ease of operation, a 3D view that you can click on and play around with and look at it. You can actually look every place on this thing. Also, Herman was pointing out the exhaust here. The exhaust, now you figured it since it's in the middle, it's pointing down.
Remember the cam?
No, if you look at it, it's from the top view, it's hollowed out. So the exhaust actually goes past the fuselage in the back area and straight down without affecting the foils in the back.
Reduces turbulence.
Yes,
It
which
reduces drag
Right.
caused by the turbulence of the engine exhaust.
which I thought was really,
Applied
really high.
physics.
But
Applied
it was a
physics.
pretty good looking bird.
Yeah, it's a sexy looking drone. Really, it really is. Someone View Chaser says Max Air 420.
Yeah,
I
Brent
really
Ariel says
like-
400 kilometers in 4 hours is a fast drone. Yeah, you're talking about 60 something miles an hour there. You're covering
bad at
about
all.
200, almost 250 miles. You're covering in 4 hours there. So that does have some speed, sustained
What's up, Ray?
speed.
What's up, fellas?
So,
Hey,
Ray,
what's going on?
What it be like?
what's going on, man?
Chilling,
So y'all-
chilling.
Godfather himself, Mr. Ray Hall.
You're talking about my bird, huh? I heard y'all talk about my bird, huh?
Yeah, you got one on order, right?
Yeah, I do. I'm trying to get it. I told y'all heard me say that. I said this will be the only FPV bird I did. I told y'all that like months ago. So
Well,
I was real good on Valentine's Day. I think I'm gonna be rewarded.
Dude, we talked about a motion controller that might be released with it.
It
Okay,
might
Ray?
be able to
So,
control the FPV like this.
now, Ray, if we could only get in a motion controller for you, huh? Okay,
I did emotion.
There you go.
Yeah, I gotta have
emotion
Yeah,
controller.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah. I can't do emotionless. No.
And
Hold
shit,
on,
look,
Ray.
even Welsh
Ray, I'll
Rob
get the
recognized
article.
Ray
I'll
got a
put the
mic.
article up and send it to you, Ray.
Okay. Ray always had a mic. It's just that I'll be lazy. I'll be on them greens sometimes. I don't feel like getting up to switch mics. Hey,
Hey,
keep it
Ray,
real. What's up?
right here is the link in the chat for that what they're talking about with the
El Smeghead, I have no doubt
Controller.
your Phantom 4
Excuse me a
does
second.
65 miles an hour. I think you're understating it.
Uh-oh.
What happened to Welsh Rob?
No, El Smeghead said his Phantom 4 does 65 miles an hour.
Okay.
Mhm.
I have no doubt with El Smeghead. I'm pretty sure he's hacked that bad boy to go a lot faster.
I believe him.
Yeah.
Let me go
It's a
over to
Phantom
the
4
chat.
Pro Max.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
That must be the V7. Mhm.
So Ray, March 2nd, baby.
version
Get
2.
that plastic out, babe.
Well, check it
Hey,
out.
you know what I
was
just did? I just
Uh-huh.
renewed my DJI Select membership.
Hey, I got 2
$29
more weeks.
hostage program, right?
Yep.
So
what did you say,
So-
hostage program?
yeah, it's a $29 hostage program. Would you like your drone shipped quicker than everybody else's?
Why
Would you
not?
like to pay half for DJI Care?
Yep.
Then
That's
pay
why I
us
do
up
it.
front now. Okay,
Right.
so yeah.
I did it.
Oh,
And
you said the
and
second.
then you get perks on your birthday.
March 2nd. March 2nd is the tentative.
For those of you who want to read or check out this UAV, here's the link right here. You can check it out. Go to the products. You can check out. I like the control station because, like Herman said, that ground station has no antennas coming out of it or whatever, but you have to have a desk for that.
Well, unless
It has the flight joystick.
unless you bring your herb with you to the fly site and you can hold it while you fly.
Use that as a segue into that, Herman.
Ooh.
That use this as a segue into that discussion about training pilots
Oh,
fly.
flyby, yes.
Well, this company here, Flyby Tech, teaches pilots to fly drones across the world.
Internationally. While you
Flyby,
do that, I'll run parts of the video
Flyby
that
Tech
I can show.
technology based in North Yorkshire, England, has developed a drone pilot course for flying drones across the pond.
This is in the UK.
Now, this is not here. This is over in the UK, as Lawrence said. But the course is the first of its kind, and it will allow international beyond visual line of sight flight. Pilots from piloted from a single location. Now, this course will be taught by the former Royal Navy flight pilots and the Army Air Corps helicopter pilots in collaboration with Flyby Technologies instructors. Now, what made this interesting is that they're taking the average Joe pilot, UI, whoever that's interested in learning, and they're training them to be able to fly some of these aircraft and basically developing pilots for, because they talked in the article about the need for being able to fly cargo drones that have been delivering stuff through COVID testing, vaccinations, food, medical supplies, and stuff like that. And I thought it was a good idea because we're talking about Matternet and where they are now, where they're going with, these are some of these things. And, with the FAA, you still have to have a manned pilot on these things. So
this is true, but go ahead.
These are things that I thought would be good for to put out there. So the average Joe can, if they were interested, and there was
if you're willing to take the course, of course, you'd have to be 107. Well, whatever their standardized
whatever it is in that
rating is there in the UK. But I thought this was cool is because they said there are companies already doing this.
Yeah,
there's a company called Swoop Aero, which flies internationally from Melbourne, Australia, all the way to West Africa.
Right.
So if you're trying to get a type of job like this, this is supposed to be the course you would take to fly internationally, beyond the visual line of sight.
Well, this is what this company actually does. Flyby Technology. They actually teach drone pilots to fly better.
Yeah. But can you imagine this? Oh, I got to go to work today. I'm flying to Canada today.
And well, you ain't flying anywhere. You're sitting in a container.
Right.
Okay, somewhere.
Listen.
Well, look. Great that this is rolling out. Okay, on the commercial side of the fence.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody is out there between the ages of 17 and 39 and has a desire to do this as a career,
definitely.
If you commit to 5 weeks of military training and a commitment with the U.S. military, you too can be trained as an RPA center operator. RPA stands for remotely piloted aircraft. Okay,
and
the U.S. Air Force will train you
in the UK
fly unmanned aircraft, aka Predators and Reapers, and
jump on it.
Now
it'll satisfy your desire for a Mavic tenfold.
We give full credit of the video to Flyby Technologies. They have a video on YouTube which I'm about to share.
List it down in your
doing this. Hey,
comments.
Aerial Landscape. We are in no way doing this to make profit or anything. We're not getting paid for this. So if you want to check out the video, I just posted it right there. Put it in, click on it, put it in your watch later, and check it out.
If YouTube can read, it's all listed in there.
Magnet, hey, what's up, Kurt? How are you? Max Air 420, Aerial Landscapes. How's it going? But anyway, I thought that was one of the best stories tonight because it's actually showing where drone technology is going. There are places in the world. You want to fly a drone? Fly a manly drone from one country to another.
Well, we
There
talked
you go.
about no, but see, we talked about the what was that?
The quantum.
A lot of things, you know, but mention like something like that. There was that the one from Pipperstone, the Nuva. Was
Yeah.
that the 300, the V300? Those are cargo drones. You know, these are drones that can be flown by the pilot or, you know, or autonomously. You know, and these are the type of things that this article was talking about, you know, what these type of teachings are good for. You know, and I guess like with places like, you know, especially in Europe where the countries are a little closer together than when we leave here, you know, we can travel across this country in the same amount of time it take them to go from country to country to country.
You're right, because I told someone that it takes me 5 hours to go from one part of New York, southern New York, to Utica. It's a 5-hour
they'd
drive.
be in another country.
One guy told me in 5 hours I can drive from France to so-and-so, you know, through several countries.
Yeah.
5 hours, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Tom. Hey, Tom. Hey, Tom, take a look at that.
There you go, baby. Nice. That's
Thank
a nice
you,
light.
That's it.
That's
man.
a nice light. They make some good modifiers for that light too, by the way.
Yeah, I bought a whole little kit like the
You put a nice little softbox on that bad boy.
Yeah, it comes actually with a softbox with it, and then it comes with a little dome cap. But I bought a bunch.
Yeah,
of
dome cap will give you this wraparound lighting. Yeah, yeah.
You see what Global Drones put, Tom? Tom's background looks like he decided to mine for Bitcoin.
No, you know, I had to. It was getting warm in the op center, so I had to go in the data center. It's a lot cooler.
It's a lot cooler, right?
Yeah, I used to
build change mine,
right? And I was working with a guy. The floor, right, is about 2.5 feet deep. Those floors, because what it does is it's able to circulate air.
Yes, you're supposed to bring the air in, and you have to have a flow of air.
Right, and to work in those rooms, we have to have the floors open.
Right.
So there was a box. There was a box in the room, and it was a big box in the room. The guy's on top of the box, and he's sitting there, and he went to turn and jump off the other side, and he didn't realize that the floor was open over there. And all we saw was his foot just come over the top of the box like this.
And we changed all our data centers over to troughs or cable racks above. All cables come in from above, and your air circulation is from the floor up through the top. And then we have it's no longer the entire data center is a cool zone. It's a hot aisle, cool aisle.
Yeah, they're smaller now.
Because they found out that a lot of these systems run better at a hotter level than they were making it out to be. But you know, we have our cracks in there, our computer room ACs. You can hang meat in there still, okay? But
I could imagine.
But I'll tell you, remember the blackout back in 2003? Okay. We kept our we kept our party going a lot longer, man. Okay, was able to stay cool in that data center.
Oh wow!
That emergency power was wonderful, right, Herman? You get those.
I used to like those jobs.
You got those UPSs. We got whole rooms. Okay, basically the size of a house is just UPSs.
Okay.
And now we have rolling into a new disaster recovery site too, out of state, also.
Hey, Adrian Lee, what's good, man? How's it down in the islands? I know you missed the snow up here.
Snow.
You don't miss it.
Don't talk that word. Shit.
Adrian Lee's down in the islands.
So tired of this rain.
He's also a member of
NUAIR. Too, Tom, man. Me too, man. I'm done with the snow, man.
But he's decided to leave New York and go to the islands where it don't snow.
Some people
because I'm hating right now.
Yo, my family in Texas. My family in Texas, they going through it, boy.
Yeah, are they with power or without? Because
no, they without. They've been without power since Monday.
It's a shame.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
You see the multi-car pileups across the states too?
Yeah.
Because
somebody gonna pay for this.
Don't know how to drive on ice.
Listen, my aunt bought this. She had a house built in Texas maybe like about 3 years ago. When she moved down there, when she was unloading her trucks, we went down there and we unloaded maybe 5 or 6 bags of calcium chloride and about 3 or 4 shovels. So the people down looking at her like, these some weird people with shovels. Those shovels came in handy this year.
Think so.
Finally came in handy, man. They said they've never seen nothing like it. How you got 20-degree weather in Texas? Crazy.
Well, Ray, this is why I'm going out to Southern Nevada, baby.
That's what I'm about to say. That's why you're heading out.
Let's see. This weekend in Henderson, my neighborhood, 62 during the day, 40 at night.
Wow.
I can deal with that. And,
Yes.
and a 40-minute or less drive, because remember, speed limit out there is 70, 75. Okay. 40-minute drive, Mount Charleston, there's 3.5 to 4 feet of fresh powder. Okay.
Hey, Corey.
So the thing I like about out there is if I want to see snow, I can go see it. Here, I don't want to see what's coming tomorrow morning.
Corey Reynolds says they're building a new data center on a military base. We won't ask what state that is because it's military, but that's pretty cool. I'd like to go inside a data center and just sit there with a beach chair and pina colada on a hot summer day. You know those hot.
Yeah, we don't let you in with food or drinks, buddy.
I know.
You ain't getting in there. By the way, you ain't getting in. Okay. Sorry.
After a certain time, that door get locked.
You talk about retina scan, arm guard, the whole thing, baby.
Global warming, Adrian Lee. Now you're rubbing it in. Not in New York, damn it.
You know what, Lawrence? When they were doing
cold today.
You know the AOL building over there in Manhattan or the Rubber Circle?
Yeah.
Had this one big room with security, right? And in this big room, they had a ton. I'm talking about like a shipment that Best Buy don't even get a shipment like that of flat screens that they were putting up throughout the whole building. We had to put them up throughout the whole building. And they had this one security guard there, they were trying to run jokes and they calling you down the hall. He said, "No, I can't leave this post."
Thanks, Ariel Landscape. Look, data centers are a unique animal. Okay. Probably one of the most expensive costs per square foot you can encounter.
I pulled a lot of cable in those rooms.
We're doing fiber throughout the city right now. So, Herman, you've seen those what look like bucket trucks, but they're fire department and those are outside plant engineers.
I know they're doing the.
Okay. They do. They've all been recertified as glass techs now. They're all fiber techs.
Get out of here.
Pole joints on the.
That little light.
Remember those back in the day?
They're roping and rodding right now. That's what they're doing. A lot of roping and rodding throughout the city. We're connecting every location via fiber. After Superstorm Sandy wiped out a good portion of course, the copper plant.
Yeah, but out here right now,
the Rockaways and all.
It's them and Verizon.
Yeah, we got hurt out here, Tom.
The street together.
Oh, yeah. But Verizon has to get easement from us. We don't have to get easement from Verizon, Herman.
Them and Verizon going down.
We own the agreements from 1898, dude. The American Telephone Company.
Wow.
Okay?
AT&T.
No, not even AT&T, man. Before that. Before Bell. Right? Before Bell. Dude.
So who's that? Western?
We own, no, it was a consortium.
Because I remember,
we have the easement underground. We're the only holders right now. Okay. Nobody's lasted longer than we have.
Yeah.
So,
that in the code,
but we always have people wanting to hang stuff from our, those of you in New York know there's about 5 large antennas throughout the city. Very large antennas. You don't know about all the other ones, but those are you see the one on Woodhaven Boulevard. That's the Queen CO Communications Office. Empire Boulevard in Brooklyn. Okay. So Manhattan CO in Central Park. But we always have people wanting to hang stuff off our antennas. No go. Ain't happening.
Yeah, because once you let one person do it, then someone else wants to.
And then there's microwave throughout the city, point-to-point microwave.
Yeah.
Okay. And then they put up a 65-story building in your path you didn't even know about. Okay. Somebody
Well, that's
forgot to file
happening.
that ECB plan.
I've been looking at Ray, the pictures that you guys are taking on the East River. If you remember, and what I'm talking about, like the from Grand Ferry all the way up. If you remember, at one time between Grand Ferry and Long Island City, there were actual gaps in air. Now the buildings are lined up like teeth.
Well, see, that's
Along the waterfront.
Forget about it.
Waterfront, all the way up, man. And I imagine the people that moved into that neighborhood that live in the brownstones and the older style homes that now look up and all they see is a 20-30-story building.
They took their view away. Their views are gone.
Yeah.
Their views are gone.
Or they would go to the rooftop. What did they call that? Someone had told me, I'm going to Tar Beach. You want to join me? And I was like, where the hell is that? He's like, up on my roof, man. I didn't know.
Tar Beach,
bro.
He had a beautiful view.
Flat roofs.
He had a beautiful view of the city. And now there's a beautiful view of the 7th floor of a 28-story building in front of him.
Jeremy Lawrence, I'm still waiting for the rest of those buildings.
Get out of here.
I told you, I said, those Dodge reports, they went in years ago for the whole of that construction.
Right.
Years ago. Years ago, when they still had the fiends out there, those things went in.
Lon, that's why I tell a lot of guys, like most of the time, I fly with my map. You see, I don't fly with the view. I don't need to see that. I fly with my map. You can see these pockets with geo fences is out, how you can go around these areas, That's why I fly with the map.
Listen, if you fly in New York City and you fly without an map, or any of that assisted aids that they give you to fly legally in New York, that's a problem. Because now with the UTMs and the remote ID and all of that stuff coming up, put your bird up if you want to anywhere. Go ahead, I dare you. Especially after the story. We did a story a while back. Do you guys remember how they did a testing overnight in Manhattan? So if you were flying during that time, I'm sure your drone was registered and stuff. They didn't care about that, but they were testing the fact that the launch capability of drones in Manhattan. You remember, Tom? We had did a story on that. And it will come to a point where if you don't follow the rules, they're going to smack you in your hand pretty hard.
I fly what I want. I got courage. I fly.
I'm a bad boy.
It's not legal for them to walk up and smack your hand with a stick, but I'd like to see that one day.
Hey,
drone pilot up flying, and all of a sudden, someone walks up to him with a stick and whacks his hand.
Thanks, him.
Hey, what's up, Roger? Give me a second. I have to check something on the stove.
How's it going, Roger?
Talking about Europe, right? So Herman, Europe is like half the size. If we're just talking about what we think is the EU and not portions of Russia there, it's half the size of the US in square footage. So yeah, getting the ability to pop around from country to country is great. I mean, what do we do here? We pop around from state to state. Right.
Exactly. Borough to borough.
There's some significant diversity here that people don't realize, man. You people who haven't gotten out of where you are need to see the rest of this country. Just amazing. Amazing, man. Just look at this, right, Herman? I mean, you go out to Montauk Point, out there, Camp Hero, that whole South Shore. Then you go up to the North Shore, completely different landscape. I mean, portions of that North Fork, man, are like, remember the beach scene from the Planet of the Apes with the Statue of Liberty sticking out? That's when I went up to that area right there to photograph the pieces of driftwood up on the beach. This wasn't a beach you're going to lay out in the sun. This was real rustic, primitive type of look beach. So you get those huge differences in landscape just in this area here. From downstate New York all the way up to upstate New York. I mean, the Finger Lakes section with like the highest concentration of waterfalls in the United States, just in that area. Okay. And then go down to, the desert areas.
What you mentioned.
To the redwood forest. I mean, just amazing landscapes throughout this country.
Mm-hmm. Well, you mentioned Long Island. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because I was watching a program here, and they just we were talking one time about 3D printed homes. They actually have them out in Riverhead now.
Yes, Herman was telling me about that.
And they got 50-year warranty on the structure.
How many year?
50-year warranty on the structure, on the company that does it. Now, what I like is that it's all concrete structure. And you don't have to do the build out on the inside with the carpenters and the plumbers and electricians and everything. But I guess the electricians has to come in and lay the foundation first before you start the build out, because if not, then the home won't be functional. Or the building structure won't be functional.
So just think about right now how you would 3D print something, right? You're putting a substrate, you're putting a plastic ABS. There's a whole slew of different types of plastics. You're feeding through these extruders. In this case, you're feeding concrete or plasticized concrete. Okay,
right, basically
through extruders. And they're laying a home. Okay. My father, back in the early 90s, when he retired, they decided to move upstate, and he actually wound up putting a manufactured home on a piece of property. And at first I was resistant to it, going, what is this, a double wide? I mean, moving into a trailer park, not to discriminate against any trailer park residents, but this house was freaking incredible how they did it at a fraction of the cost. Instead of it being stick built on this piece of land he had saved up for, and then all that lumber being exposed to the elements, because, you get a couple of days of bad weather and the crew's not there working and they're not sheathing the structure, right? But here, basically what we had to do was prepare for a foundation. They laid the foundation in place. They put steel I-beams across the foundation. When the house got delivered, it got delivered in 3 parts on 3 tractor trailers. And they came in, and this jib crane brought it over. You had to see these tractor trailer drivers were amazing too. And then they set up these little dollies, these trolleys on the I-beams. And after they lined everything up, one guy pushed that section of the house into place. And then they just jacked it, put these isolators, they brought it back down. Then everything got griped down, and they did the next until they pieced it together. And then the finish work inside took 3 hours.
Tom, you know how I know how true that is? You see these buildings on behind me?
Yeah.
They were stacked. Each floor was brought in on a tractor trailer.
Yeah, it's an erector set.
Like a puzzle and lifted up. And this
side AA attaches to AA, side AB attaches to AB. Yeah.
The tallest building, I think, is 21 stories. The 2 towers. Those are 21 stories. And we as kids used to sit there on bikes and watch these tractor trailers come in with sections, like you said, and they had 2 cranes at a time working on different buildings. And they were just picking them off the tractor trailers and stacking them like dominoes.
I believe it's up there like around 100th Street, the Amsterdam area. There's a school up there, fully modular, just like that, with a bunch of blocks. They brought them in sections by section, and you have to make it work. They're a nightmare. A lot of it, the code is missing. They're off. They don't meet code because it was manufactured in some other state where the code is different. There's a lot of things going on with a lot of those things.
Hold on, what did Big Matt say? The city just contracted with the company that does the drone detection like Aeroscope. Is that true? I read that yesterday, just can't remember the company. I don't remember the exact company, but at one time and point, there was a company that was bidding to do drone detection in New York City. And I think it may have had to do with some tests that they recently did within the last 6 months or so. But would be interested to try and find out the name of that company and see if there's any drone news out there for it. I don't know if Tom would hear or is committed to total silence on that subject, but I did hear something similar to drone detection being tested and or implemented in the city. I cannot confirm it though. That honestly, I can say I cannot confirm.
Didn't hear anything about it yet, but I'll look into it.
Yeah.
But
because aeroscope, we know that law
thing is
enforcement
terrible.
uses aeroscope in the city, but as far as an actual company contracting out, it's a possibility. It would be cheaper to have somebody on contract to do this kind of work. You know what I'm saying? Now,
they pushing them out of the Navy Yard like heavy.
Yeah. And for those of you, Herman, I don't know if you still remember the name. There is a major drone company in Brooklyn Navy Yard.
Easy Aerial, but we were talking. He was talking about the prefab, like we were talking before.
Okay.
Those prefab module things were nightmares when they did that school up there in Manhattan.
The end product's okay,
even
but
that
miserable
technology
to
has
work on.
changed.
You gotta make things happen because they were off a little bit.
You talk about prefab, right? Which is the way that the construction industry is really moved into.
Well, yeah, now that
there's
homes.
There's a major hotel casino on the Vegas Strip that's shrouded in a black tarp that they're taking down. It wasn't even occupied. What happened was, and this is a hilarious story, as long as you're not the one writing the checks.
Mm-hmm.
What happened was there was an inspector there to do some other inspection work. And he wound up there, and he was on the 13th floor of the structure being built. And I believe it was going to be a 23 or 24 story luxury casino hotel. Okay. And what happened was when he was there, he was going to be inspecting something else, but he noticed as the guys were starting to lay in the concrete slab floors, one of the mechanics was cutting off the rebar off of one of the sides.
Oh, wow.
And he was like, I don't understand that. And he had asked somebody, hey, why are you guys cutting this off? Oh, it doesn't fit. And he mentioned it to another friend he was having lunch with after he did some electrical inspections. He mentioned it to his buddy who was a structural engineer, that on the 13th floor in this quadrant of the building, he was just waiting to get into an area, but he had to wait until they were cutting off the rebar on these plate sections.
What?
And the structural engineer said, excuse me, what building? And it's like, the building we're in right now. He goes, whoa, what do you mean cutting off? These guys had reversed the drawings, or whatever crew it was. They were, for the last like 3 or 4 floors, they were jury rigging the installs because they were putting in the sections. They had like swung the sections like 90 degrees by mistake. And they weren't fitting.
That's a big mistake.
So, well, you want to talk about big mistake? Cheaper to deconstruct the entire building and call it quits than it would be to fix the building and finish the construction.
Wow.
That's a big mistake.
Wow.
Yeah, huge. Wow. Okay?
Yeah, because you would have to do a major rip. And that's
you got to take down. You're talking about they made it fit. How do you take something you made to fit now unfit? The only way to do that is demo, right?
Demo. Yep.
And you ain't demoing. And you got to see where this structure is. It's like packed into this tight area on the strip where they have they were creating like this offshoot area. So you can't implode it either. You have to take it down piece by piece. Okay. So
which is even more time.
Oof. Money. Resort World is opening up their brand new casino this year on the Strip.
Well,
Those
talking
of
about
those of us
casinos,
in Queens know Resort World is our
talking
Queens
about
casino.
casinos, I had decided to load this up. I had it loaded earlier, but for some reason I clicked on it and closed it down. So I'm gonna open it up real quick once the commercial's over and all of that stuff, and we can show this implosion right here that everyone is talking about. Okay, this is the old Trump Plaza in Atlantic City, and they did this. They did this thing
right?
like
83, 84, right?
83, 84. Yep, 84.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
They did this
went
implosion right on time.
He sold it to ICANN, I think, what, in the 90s?
Something like that,
he went,
yeah, and they
bankrupt
never
on it.
did anything with it. So
they were just
stopped
wrapped up
him.
like it.
That actually stopped him from getting a gaming license in Vegas.
Yep. That's what happened. That's why he couldn't do no more casinos.
There we go. I just had to show that. I had to.
Well, Ray also he had screwed
system.
He had screwed Steve Wynn in Atlantic City and kept him out. And Wynn owns Swin and Encore and half of the Strip. So of course, when the Donald tried to come into Vegas, they let him build a hotel.
Yep.
But not a casino. Wouldn't give him a game.
That was like that movie. I forgot the name of that movie. Them guys went to that casino and tried to set up, and that guy's like, good old boy's like, nah, you can't do that here, baby. You gotta pay.
Can't play in our backyard.
Not in our backyard, nah, man.
Welsh
shoes
Rob,
not pointy enough.
You do Welsh Rob does a stream on Sundays before us.
Oh, you do,
Welsh
Welsh
Rob.
Rob.
People to go over to us. We appreciate that, Welsh Rob.
Dude, I gotta check that out, man.
Check that out. Well, you know what, Ray, that's
I will have to do that also.
Company that's the major stockholder in the building over here in Manhattan and the one in San Francisco. They're basically trying to get him to get the hell out.
Yeah, everybody want to get away from him.
Now it's under investigation.
Everything is under investigation.
It's under investigation now.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then,
Rob, I got you subscribed also, bro.
He built the building, and then he didn't pay the contractors. He told them all to sue him.
Well,
right? When that guy
let's not go too deep in this conversation, boys. Okay,
Helmut already did it.
Yeah.
Listen, all I know is the building's gone, and I hope something more profitable goes up. That's all.
You know what? I would.
Down, bro.
What they got to do with AC is they got to invest some money in the neighborhoods also.
Yes.
Okay,
true, because the
they got to remember. I mean,
horrible.
Look, you turn around. Remember Atlantic City? You come out on the boardwalk entrance. It's a party. You come out on the street side entrance.
Oh, you're absolutely.
It was hairy.
But look
real hairy.
Look about over by we could look at this from Yankee Stadium area. Look at what they did over there.
Yeah.
You remember what Yankee Stadium used to look like back in the 70s?
Hey, dude. I worked midnights. I covered from 149 up to Fordham, from the Major D to Southern.
Look at the neighborhood now.
Nights as a medic, okay?
Yeah.
I know that area.
Look at the neighborhood now.
I could tell you, I could predict which street corner the next shooting was going to be on. Okay.
That's why when they built IKEA in Red Hook, that's why they did that whole strip.
Exactly.
See? Because you got to change that look, man. You can't leave that old cobblestone crap, man.
Gotta brighten it up.
Man.
Gotta brighten it up.
People
want to come there and park their cars there and bring their family.
Exactly. Yep.
The problem is when you do that, you gentrify that area and you don't make allowances for people who don't have the means to pull themselves up. So you gotta freaking,
that's where I come in handy at, man.
Create those freaking jobs.
Yeah.
Give them out locally.
Well, it's funny.
Look at all the Tom. Look at in the last 15 years, all the development in Red Hook, IKEA, the cruise terminal, Fairway,
Tesla.
all the stores.
It's a completely different neighborhood now.
I've been a part of all
that's
those.
What they have to. But that's
all
what
those
they have to in Atlantic City. They put a discount mall, or what do you call that?
No. That's Tangus.
Right,
That's
Tanger
Tanger's Outlet
Outlet
Mall.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right,
And
right
that's
across from the
okay,
convention
but
center.
as soon as you come out Tanger
across.
Outlet, you got to put your hand on your knife, though.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
you understand?
You got to make
and that's what's
opportunities,
really
man.
bad.
You have to
Gotta
create
make
opportunities.
Got to
Exactly.
create opportunities.
First thing that they should do is get rid of that pizzeria.
Oh God, stop!
I know that was horrible.
It
What
had
pizzeria?
Tom.
The
Have
pizzeria
you
made a
ever
large
and
fortune
Ray, Tom and Ray, you're
went
New
in there,
Yorkers, you know New
can't even
York
smell
pizza.
cooking.
You guys know New York pizza. Have you ever in your life walked into a pizza shop and not smelled pizza when people are in there eating it?
Nah.
Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. Case closed. I have never in my life. Herman and I looked at each other. We walked in. We saw there were people eating pizza. There were people buying pizza, and we looked at each other, and we didn't have to say much. We just turned around and walked out because I've never in my life went in a pizzeria and not smelled pizza.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That
That's
was
crazy.
scary. That was
Yeah.
freaking scary. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah. Don't smell no dough, no bread, no nothing.
But
They had the one clip
Ray, they were in there eating it like it was good.
on display.
Like walking into a brewery, Ray, and not smelling beer.
You're not smelling beer.
Something's wrong there, baby.
Something wrong there.
wrong
No,
there.
you don't
Yes.
smell no hobs or nothing.
Yes.
Something wrong there.
Yes. Hey, Fly
Wow,
Guy
man.
Merrill, how are you? It's
Yeah,
okay.
the problem is now today they think you got COVID. You can't smell it. Okay, so be
Yeah,
careful.
man, that's.
Meanwhile,
Oh, you
it's
can't
shitty
smell?
cooking.
Oh, you got COVID.
Yeah,
Yeah.
these
That's
were
funny, bro.
pre-COVID days.
Meanwhile, you know, you got people showing up at the hospital going, I have no taste. No, your wife is a shitty cook. Okay.
That's it. You've
You've developed a defense mechanism. That's why you can't taste. Okay.
Oh,
You're
no.
immune to it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
And on the
sad.
shitty cooking note, it's about that time, guys, to get out of here. Who's on
That's
tonight?
true. Hey, I got good news.
Everybody's
I got
on.
my second shot today, man.
Oh, all right. I got mine on
My
the
second
8th.
shot.
I'm
I
actually
got a
getting
full
my
bottle
note.
of Tylenol.
I'm actually
all set.
getting my note from my doctor this week.
Little soreness on the little
so
elbow.
I can go
that's
get
it.
mine because I have COPD. So
Yeah.
pre-existing
They just open that up for
underlying
those guys.
conditions.
I
I
got
now
it through the job.
qualify. I just have to wait for her to type it up. That she wants
Okay.
me to come in, and I know she's not going to do it, but I still have to have her stamp on it.
Well, you got to
before I can
hope
go get my shot.
they're releasing more and more and more. So,
Yeah,
and
it's
then when
coming.
the
And
Johnson and Johnson one comes out, you
Yes.
know, what I'm really hoping for is that, you know, you got people who going, I'm waiting for the one shot. I'm waiting. Look, the one shot needs to go to the elderly, the homebound.
Thank you. Thank you.
know,
Thank you.
Get out there, the Meals on Wheels, train these people
Yeah.
to give the shots.
Yeah.
Okay. Get
Thank you,
out
Tom.
there and get those
Yeah.
get those homebound people immunized.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Yeah. Get them seniors in there that can't get out. Yeah. Get them the one shot. They
it's
can't
true.
be
Yeah.
part of that nonsense, man.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's just feeling like there's light at the end of the tunnel. Getting that second shot, it feels like, you know, the wife and I got it today. Luckily, we're both on the job,
God
so we
bless
got
you,
it as
man.
first
God
responders.
bless
But
you, man.
you know,
God bless,
it's
man.
I want to see it get out there to people, and I want people to take advantage of it.
Yeah, I'm
We're
still
not
going
dead.
to do
We're
it with
still
my
here,
brother.
man. It didn't kill
Yeah.
me. Okay, it's
Yeah. That's what I told my
Listen,
brother. I'm
I
still
can-
going
I
at it
can
with my
vouch
brothers
for
with
that
that.
too.
The,
I
the
can
one
definitely
thing
vouch
is,
for that.
look, 95% effective at preventing you from getting COVID, but do you know it's 100% effective from keeping you out of the damn hospital because of COVID?
Yeah. Because
Yeah,
of COVID. Talk
keeping
about it,
you
brother.
above ground.
Talk
okay?
about it, brother. Yep. Talk
So,
about it.
You know,
listen,
we
it's
just
that
gotta,
time, guys.
we got to
Yeah.
think about each other, right? That's what we're all
Right.
about here.
That's it. Think about each other, man. Exactly. Amen to that, man.
All right, Herman.
That time, man. We got to get up out of here. 7:00, and it's that time for us. I'd like to thank you guys for hanging out on the panel, talking with us tonight. You know, hanging out, talking about different things. We talk all tech news and drone-related news. It was actually a pretty good show tonight.
And we rarely went squirrel tonight.
Well, stuff to talk about. And you guys in the chat, I'd like to thank you for being here with us. For without you, none of this would be possible. I thank you. We appreciate you so much.
Yes.
And I'll see you next time
Mhm.
on Phantom Flight 101.
Good night, everyone.
Those guys.
With
Those
those
guys.
guys.
Don't forget
Peace
Sunday
out.
nights.
Peace and love. Peace and love.